Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have some really good news for you, and that is that I completed a marathon. Yes, I literally completed a marathon. Now, it might not be the marathon that some of y'all are thinking about, but it's a personal best for me, so it still counts. This Thanksgiving, I had a personal best number of pieces of pie. I had a personal best. And I'm wearing black to hopefully slim down the effects of those 5 pieces of pie I had in 36 hours. But anyway, it was good. I needed it. Apparently, I needed it. I will say that my spirit guide, some of you know, if you've been watching me for a long time, that you can have helper guides. I have a video coming out about that on Way Out Wednesday, which is coming up this Wednesday. But you can ask for helper guides. And I did, of course. I said, SOS, Mayday, I need freaking help to stop eating sweets. And they've given me, I would say, a few guides, spirit guides over the course of a year. I've gone through a few. And my latest healthy eating spirit guide, what if he had a name for it? Oh, man, I can't think of it. He had a really interesting name that was I'm like, that just means diet. I mean, you're just trying to say diet in some other way. But anyway, so of course, he couldn't handle this. So he went on vacation. So yes, your guides, they can go on vacation. They're working hard. They need a break. So my guide, this is a male, because we know that a woman would side with me. And we know that, right? They know that. So they had to give me a guy, a young guy, one of those really fit, natty dressing young man. Well, he went on vacation, except for, turns out, it was to throw shade. So while I'm eating my marathon of pies, he sent me pictures of this beautiful beach, deserted, white sands, like blue, crystal blue water, palm trees. I would just get these pictures in my mind. They would just pop in my mind. Now, what he was trying to do in his own little sweet way was to say, Susan, are you going to like how, I mean, it's okay with us, right? You asked for our help. I mean, they're not judging me. I asked for their help. They're trying to help me. So it's just a reminder for them. It's a reminder. You would like to go on a vacation where you're probably going to be wearing not black. And, are your choices supporting how you would like to feel on that vacation? It's just a statement of fact. It's not really shade. It's guidance, to be honest with you. It's guidance. Remember your goal. You wanted to be here. You wanted to do this. And, just remember that goal and keep that in mind when you're on your pie marathon. So anyway, listen, you too can have pesky helper guides help you get involved in your life, because all you got to do is ask. And then what will happen is when you're in a grocery store and you're trying to buy the ice cream, you'll see a picture of something like I do in my mind, I'm a very clairvoyant. So I see things, but you could also have a knowing, or you could feel that this ice cream is not good for you. How many times have you gone to do something that's not good for you and stood there with it and then put it back? Because what do we say? I thought better of it. We have all these ways of explaining, in my opinion, our guides, giving us guidance. I thought better of it. Well, honey, you didn't think better of it. You would have had that thing in your cart. You would have been, if you had spoons in the car, you would have been eating it in the car. We know this. Come on, let's be honest. But you thought better of it because you had guidance that said, this isn't really going to make you healthy. Maybe this is going to trigger your diabetes. Maybe this is going to make you feel bad about yourself after you eat it, right? Do you want to rethink this? And here we are. I thought better of it. So you too can have guides to help you. Just ask. They're there for the asking, ready to help you. It is their life mission, to be honest with you, to help you. So this isn't what this video is about, but I thought it would be nice to share it with you. And because you might see some of that pie, might be noticeable. Anyway, thought I would just come out and own it. So listen, I want to just briefly talk to you about really briefly, I swear, I hope, because I have a session, so this can't be long. Okay, first of all, they wanted to say, BJ left a comment on one of the videos, and it's all, when I'm channeling, I don't know. But BJ said, you know, like, hey, I'm getting tripped up. Like when the guides, the spirit guides say, what will humans choose? It sounds judgmental, right? It sounds like I'm choosing, I voted, I sent my $5 in, right? I donated. I did what I could, whatever that was for me. I did it. And what do you mean? What will humans choose? Well, the guides are saying that this is a really good thing they really want to talk to you about. And then I'm going to talk about special counsel very briefly. But they want to tell you that when they say what will humans choose, obviously they're talking about worldwide humans, all humans. And not to put you in the bucket with them that aren't choosing maybe light and love. Maybe they're choosing something else. But we are all in this together, right? I mean, they talked about in that last video about how if I have bread and they have water, well, then I need their water, they need my bread. So we have to find a way to sort of work through this and then come to the other side. Now, in the working through of it, we may really need to put our foot down and say, we need justice here. This is not acceptable. We're not going to have you treat people, be they whatever they are, whatever subset of person that's not a white male or female, whatever other subset, whatever. We're not going to allow that. Okay, so we do have to do that. We have to let justice reign. We have to. But in the meantime, if you are like me and you're saying, well, I did my job, I voted, I did these things, and now what? Everything seems like it's still not really being fixed and we didn't get the outcome we wanted. The guides would say to you, this is your time to take care of you and your spiritual health and your mental health and your physical health. Because when you take that 30 minutes and you go outside and walk in nature, or you take that 10 minutes and you listen to that uplifting song, or you take that 15 minutes and you meditate, or you take that 30 minutes and play with your grandchild or your pet, or you maybe indulge in a hobby that makes you feel good and feel happy, that energy that you're participating in at that time is emitting out of you. If you want to think about a fog or a glow, it's emitting out of you. It's not something you're doing on purpose, and it's not something that you can control. It just does. And it adds to all the other glows that everybody else is doing. And that beautiful light energy spreads around your community, your household, for one thing, for sure, but also your neighborhood, your community, your city, your town, your state, your province, your country, and eventually the world. So now our job is to do that, is to try to find time where we can set aside the worry or the grief or the sadness or whatever it is, and search for, be intentional about finding a little bit of joy. Now, we're not going to be joyful all the time. We're not. I was, for some reason, I know it was guide related. I woke up like, I think Thanksgiving morning, and they were playing songs in my head. So I decided to play them on my speaker. And I was dancing around, feeding the dogs and screaming and singing at the top of my lungs. And that's not like me. Actually, that's not like me. And that energy that I created, even though it only lasted 20 minutes and the dogs left the building. But anyway, that energy that I created lifted the energy of the house and lifted the energy of myself for days afterwards. And I don't even know where it went and who it ended up impacting in the world. It joined other beautiful energy, other happy energy, other silly energy. So this is our job right now. When the guides say, what will humans choose? We choose love and light. That's the answer. It's not meant, it does feel judgmental, I know, but it's not meant to be. It's a question. It's really and truly a question, because as we, one more than the last, choose love and light, we're growing the amount of people that are choosing love and light. Love and light is growing, and eventually that will overcome and subdue those that are sending out darkness in whatever form that is. And it is happening. There's more of us than there are them. But because this has been so challenging, and a lot of us are empaths, we have kind of been down in the dumps and been a little sad, and maybe, thinking things just aren't working out, and maybe they aren't going to work out. Maybe we've been losing hope. So we've sort of been emitting a little bit of a darker light than our normal light. So once the majority of us realize that this really does affect everything, not only ourselves, but everything in the world, and we start trying to intentionally bring a little love and light into our life, even if it's for only 10 minutes every other day, that makes a difference. It really makes a difference. Okay. So now I want to talk to you briefly about the special counsel. The Republicans, when I go into the energy of Jack Smith, and the Republicans, when I go into the energy of, say, Lindsey Graham or any of those Republicans, Jordan, not Boebert and not Marjorie Taylor Greene, because they actually believe their own BS, but the people that, like Lindsey Graham he's able to see we're screwed or we're going to win. He tries to really be critical about things. And so does McConnell and a lot of those other people. And they call Jack Smith, Jack the Reaper. That's what the Republicans are calling him, is Jack the Reaper. Now, obviously, this is kind of this, humor that's kind of gallows humor, but it's kind of true, right? They know this man is the end of their way of life, is what I just heard. He's the end of their way of life. Now, of course, we've been through this movie. We've seen this movie before. We've seen Nixon. We've seen other big scandals, but this is a bigger one. And these people will be brought to judgment and to justice, including Trump and a lot of those people. They will be brought to justice. And Jack Smith is not going to dally, as we know. He was already sending letters out on Thanksgiving Day. He has now been included in all of the special master, anything that correspondence with the special master or island Judge Cannon. He is now being included in that. He's already called them out on a frivolous, case. It's game over. This man has no they're kind of describing it like he has no owner. He's not owned by anyone. So where you might say that Mueller, Mueller couldn't convict Trump because Trump was a sitting president, and Mueller could be fired at any minute by Trump. So that wasn't really a very, neutral, honest look at the situation. And Garland, that is why he needed to appoint this special counsel, because they're protected. They can't be coerced by one side or the other. So this is why we have him. And he just doesn't care. I'm going to tell you right now, if he has evidence against a Dem, they're going down. If he has evidence against a Republican, they're going down. He doesn't care. He just does not care. So that's good news. Also, he doesn't like, well, I mean, they're showing me, this is evidenced by him working on Thanksgiving Day. He doesn't like things that are drawn out. He's actually quite impatient. He's not a slow walk person. He's not a dawdler. He's very brisk. He feels that once you've started an investigation, he feels that you only have that your timing is very limited before the person you're investigating can obscure the evidence or the leads go cold, right? Which is very true. I mean, they get to these people, these witnesses, and they buy them off or threaten them, and then they don't, they don't want to be a part of that anymore. This man is in The Hague. I mean, he's investigating war crimes from Kosovo. So, which was a long time ago. He does not like that. He doesn't like delayed justice. And I think that's one of the reasons why he took this job, because I think it was starting to really upset him that these people that participated in war crimes, that this investigation is 10 years old or whatever it is, years old, it's starting to really frustrate him. He was getting very frustrated. So he took this because he knew it was a slam dunk. He knew he was already up on this. He's already been consulted. He knew the facts. He knew the evidence. And they're showing me he knew the route he was going to take with the evidence. He already had like a game plan created. He already knew what that was. It's not like he was saying, oh, here's the evidence. What do I do? What plan? What will I do? He already knew. He already had it devised, the game plan. So I feel like, that gives me chills. I feel like that he will have some sort of public ruling or charge. It's not really a ruling. It's a public statement, because I think he does all the work, and then he gives it to Garland, and then Garland, as the head of the DOJ, presses charges. So I feel like by June, he's going to give Garland this first group of evidence, these charges. I believe we should charge this, and this based on that, and that by June. Now, whether Garland does anything in June, I don't know. He could do it in July. He could do it in August. He could sit on it. He could run it by other legal consultants, which sounds like Garland to me. But I don't think Garland is going to obstruct it. I don't think he wants to obstruct it. But as I look at a probable timeline, I cannot tell you 100%. I cannot. 100% is BS. Nobody can do 100%. All of us have free will. This is a free will country, free will world, free will earth. So the guides would like to speak in probabilities, right? So there's a high probability that by June, we will have already experienced in, say, May, June, July. Yeah, in May, some revelations regarding March, April, May, some revelations regarding some House members that will be cited as having been involved with the January 6th and that clause against, treason or whatever will be kicked in, and you can't hold office if you've taken up arms against the United States. We've already seen that happen in a local office, wherever that was, maybe New Mexico or Arizona, someplace like that. We've already seen that where a person was removed from their office. Okay, so there's precedent for this. This isn't like something that we're, again, trying to figure out what's the real, what can we do and what can we not do and what's been tried before, where's the precedent. It's going to happen. So the guides are saying some of these people will be caught up in this investigation of the Jan 6, and in April, May, June. Okay, in April and May, there will be investigations about whether or not what they did in regards to Jan 6, what would meet the criteria of taking up arms against the United States. So I'm telling you this because then we have Jack the Reaper giving Garland information in June. And Garland may look at the political landscape and see that the House of Representatives is basically on fire and say, this is not a good time to do this. We need to put one fire out and deal with these people. And once that's done, we'll go and do this a month later. This makes sense. This is how the administration has dealt with a lot of things. They don't want to throw oil or gasoline on an already lit fire. They want to deal with that fire, deal with those people, kind of put it out to the best that they can, and then add more and start the next investigation, which in this analogy looks like a fire. Okay, so I think that he's going to be, he very well could complete his entire investigation or something big with the investigation. A culmination is the word they're using, could happen between September and September, having a lot of energy, a lot of probability energy, to December. This has got to get done this year, because if we go into 24, we're going to run into that whole, we can't do anything against somebody who's a candidate running for office within whatever 6 months of the candidacy, whatever it is. There's a timeline, whatever that is. This all has to get done before then. That's why they brought in Jack the Reaper. And absolutely, his investigation is going to, they're showing me lines that go out to, say, Graham, McConnell, even SCOTUS. Now, I don't think that he's going to investigate those, I don't know what that word is, those lines of connections. I think he's going to farm that out to the DOJ. And he's going to say, here's my evidence, here's my evidence, here's my evidence. He's going to handpick those DOJ attorneys, and he's going to meet with them, and he's going to oversee them, but they're going to do the work, because he needs to keep his eye on the prize. And the prize is Donald Trump. He very much is a very different leader than Garland. Not to throw shade at Garland, we're all just different. And Jack feels he looks like a general. He's very he's very much able to say, Lieutenant, you go do this, Major, you go do this. He's very good at farming this stuff out, but then bringing them back in and meeting with them and saying, this is a better direction, go do this. Yes, you did this right. And then letting them go back and then having his full focus back on Donald Trump. I'm telling you, they couldn't have picked a better person. I don't think they could have picked a better person than this guy by everything that they're showing me. So I would just say to you that, we've got a lot of shock and awe coming this summer. And the last thing I will say is, because the guides were talking about this morning, and it's kind of a really good way for us all to have a reality check. The guides were saying, and I'm not a real history buff, and I certainly don't know Shakespeare, but the guides are saying, this is nothing. What the United States is going through is similar to, and maybe not even the same as some of these coup d'etat. I don't know what they're saying. Some of these coup attempts of kings, where your brother kills you and marries your wife, and then takes and throws your kids in the moat. I mean, come on. This kind of stuff, this kind of treachery, they're calling it, has been going on since the beginning. This is not new. Why are we acting like this is new, right? Like, if you want to have some kind of way to put this in perspective, watch Shakespeare. They're saying, just go watch some Shakespeare plays, stream them, or go watch some history, movies about some of these incredibly horrible kings and queens. It kind of puts things in perspective, right? Like Caesar, they're just telling me all this stuff. I don't know what Caligula is. I don't know. Anyway, they're telling me all this stuff, right? Like, it would be helpful for you guys and for Susan, for me, to have some perspective. If you realize this, they're always trying to give us perspective. When they say somebody's going to win or lose, or this isn't going to, the reason I came up with 1-800 spirit guides for complaints is because sometimes the guides tell you things that you and I don't want to hear, that it's probable that this bad thing is going to happen. Right? And it's just to get our expectations to be more realistic, so that we don't go on that roller coaster, right, of the highs and the lows, because that's really hard on our limbic system, on our ethereal, our energetic body, our physical body. Is very hard. So the guides would say to you, try to lessen those roller coaster rides. Try not to go all the way up and all the way down. Try to just say, well, maybe it will happen, maybe it won't. I'm sure everything will be fine. Try to take care of yourself so that when you hear something terrible, it doesn't take you out at the knees. Because if you've been taking care of yourself, whatever that means, you're just going to be able to handle things in stride a lot better. If we're just, have you ever been at that place? They're showing me, I don't know when this was in my life, but I remember saying, I can't take one more bad thing. I remember saying that out loud, like, I can't take one more bad thing. Well, when you let yourself get to that place, they're saying, we don't let ourselves get to that place. They're saying when circumstances, possibly beyond your control, take you to that place and just keep roughing you up and knocking you down, you do have some power. You're not completely at the mercy of external forces. You do have the power to take a walk in nature. You do have the power to listen to a funny comedian, watch a funny show, listen to good music, make yourself some comfort food, pick up that hobby, swear off news for 3 days, right? I mean, these are things that you can do truly to help yourself be able to handle those things that life throws at us sometimes that we don't really have control over. It'll give you some cushion. So when you go down, it's a little cushioned instead of like hitting the floor. That stuff is your cushion between you and the harshness of this world. And our cushion has just been flattened. Seriously. So add some more cushion. And those are some ways to do it. Take really good care of yourself. Okay. Quick video. I hope you had a fantastic, whatever you celebrate, whether it's Thanksgiving or vegetarian giving or just being grateful. Just being grateful day, a day of gratitude, a week of gratitude. That's another way to raise your vibration. What are 3 things? What are 3 new things, brand new things that I'm grateful for? Challenge yourself every day. What are 3 things that are new? When you search for something to be grateful for, it's like your energy, your vibrational energy wins the lottery. It really is. It's a huge boost to your vibrational energy. And it's so easy. It doesn't cost any money. And you can do it in 5 minutes or 1 minute. It makes you look for things in your life right here. Look out the window if you have to. It's a game changer, folks. I'm telling you, I've done it myself. It's a game changer. Take really good care. Much love and light to you guys. I'll be back on with asking for your questions probably tomorrow. Wait, it's tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. And I'll probably do the video on Monday. So look for my community post to come out. If not tonight, then tomorrow to ask for your political questions. Maybe we'll even do a spiritual questions. And don't forget, Way Out Wednesday is coming up this Wednesday. Take really good care. Much love and light from me to you. Take good care. For entertainment purposes only.